I believe how we see ourselves, our self-perception directly impacts how our relationships turn out. I believe that often our relationships are simply a reflection of how we see ourselves. Grandma's porch, a place to relax, a place to enjoy. Come visit Grandma's porch. Our relationships are a reflection of who we are. Hello, y'all. I'm Diana Brienne. You know, when relationships go through difficulties, or we have trouble meeting people, or there's problems habitually in the relationships that we are in, I believe that it often is just reflecting who we are. How we think of ourselves often will show up in that relationship. It will show up in our choices of relationships, and it will also show up in the interactions in that relationship. When we feel good about ourselves, often our relationships feel good about themselves. When we don't feel good about ourselves, often we will reflect that in some way on our relationships, and in turn that our relationships will reflect it back to us. In essence, our relationships are often a mirror to who we think we are, how we feel about ourselves. If we have low self-esteem and we don't think very well of ourselves, often our relationships will reflect that back to us. And yet, when we think really, really good thoughts about who we are, often our relationships will reflect that back too, if we've chosen the right relationships. And yet, often people who don't feel good about themselves wonder why their relationships are not going well. They often blame the other people in those relationships. Yes, it takes more than one person to create a relationship, and yet often it's us who determines the direction of that relationship. Now, let's say we have great self-esteem, but another person doesn't. Well, we've chosen that relationship for whatever reason, and that feeling of low self-esteem will have a direct impact upon the relationship we have with them. And so I believe it's very, very important how a person sees themselves, how they visualize themselves, their self-perception, their self-image, because it will directly impact that relationship and all their relationships. Having a great self-image is important because it will in some way manifest itself back in our relationships. And I'm not saying that our self-image is the cause of all relationship issues. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that often how we perceive ourselves and how we feel about who we are will directly impact our relationships. So the first thing I look at if there's an issue in any kind of relationship, I look at how am I seeing myself? Do I feel good about myself? If I'm feeling good about myself, I have great self-perception, then I look at how does that other person feel about themselves. Because if they're not feeling all that good and it was a right relationship in my life, then it's probably going to impact my relationship with them. Even though I feel good about who I am, but if they're not feeling good about who they are, it can directly impact the relationship. So on either side of the fence, when a person doesn't feel good about who they are, it can impact the relationship. Likewise, when both parties feel great about who they are and about everything that's going on with them as a person, often that relationship will thrive and flourish. So it's important for us to take a look at our own self-perception and how we feel about ourselves. And I believe the better our self-esteem is, often the better our relationships. From my house to yours, may God bless you, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye. Grandma's porch, a place to relax.